Michael Remis, Connor Hrabchak here with the Winnipeg Sports Talk postgame show. Winnipeg Jets defeating the St. Louis Blues 4-2 at Canada Life Center. Connor, how's it going? Great to see you here.
Yeah, good to be here. Was in Minneapolis, as you and Huss made very well known on the show, to see my 49ers lose. But back to work today, and the Jets won 4-2.
Yeah, nice Tuesday night, 7:45 puck drop, part of the Frozen Frenzy, where games going from 5 Central all the way to very late, 15-minute staggered starts. And, Winnipeg Jets started the puck drop with a bang with, who is a dog from the Toba Center, dropping the puck. Always everyone's favorite.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you do a ceremonial puck drop, and it's a pup drop, as Murat Atesh of The Athletic so eloquently tweeted, that was great. And it was a great ceremony. It was a great start. Adam Lowry does a ton of work for them. He was a big advocate. True North donating $50,000 to the Toba Center Foundation. And it was a great way to kick off the night.
And a great way to kick off the night. But the first period, we were in the building, but I kept getting texts that Kevin Sawyer was calling it on the broadcast low event hockey.
Very low event.
Not much going on. Connor Hrabchak coming up big. Huge save, 5 minutes in on Brandon. Brandon Saad had a completely wide open cage, and I think he missed, but it still hit Hrabchak, kind of went through, and that was the first scare of the night.
I'd call that a miss. Whether Hrabchak got a piece of it or not, that's a miss. I think Saad had about 85% of the net. Only Hrabchak's leg was sprawled across, and somehow the puck didn't go in. So the Jets got lucky to start the game.
So they had a power play, some possession, not much going on. And this was, later on in that first period, the first of many very nice passes from Cole Perfetti. A draw pass off a zone entry to Nate Schmidt. He went backdoor, just missed, and at the end of near the end of the period, the third line, I know they shuffled them around after, but Appleton, Nino, and Lowry had a lot of possession, but really just couldn't generate any quality chances. And the first period, really not a lot going on. A lot I think possession from the outside, no major scoring chances.
No, outside of that Saad chance in the first, there was just a nothing period. It was a slow start. Not a lot of action. Canada Life Center was quiet. It was just kind of a nothing period. But then, I'm sure we'll get into the second period here in a second. The Jets started off the second with a bang, came out flying, scored the 2 quick goals, and we'll get into that. First one was Perfetti to Gustafsson, I believe.
Second period started off Jets having some more pressure, and it really felt like they were on their game tonight. Had possession, some great passing, and Nemestikov had a one-timer just before that. But it was Cole Perfetti behind the net again. He had so many nice passes tonight. He did get knocked over by the much stronger Justin Falk in the first period, but it was Perfetti behind the net finding David Gustafsson, who hadn't scored in almost 4 years, 2017. November 2019. It's 2023. Got to remind myself that 20 actually just had my son. He would have been a couple months over.
There you go.
November 2019.
I was still in high school. So that's where we're at.
So a nice one. Nice shot there from Gustafsson, who he's in the lineup, gave Velarde's out, and I thought he had a very strong game. So did Cole.
Yeah, and that pass from Cole Perfetti, like you said, was one of many that he set up on the night. Just a quick shoulder check, and David Gustafsson scores from a spot that the Jets continued to hammer the rest of the night, and especially in that second period is when they started to gain momentum. But David Gustafsson, after the game, you gotta feel good for him. He's all smiles. Every question, he's grinning ear to ear. I mean, this is his second career goal, so it's not like he's a big goal scorer. He noted that Josh Morrissey gave him the jacket that they hand out after every game, so kind of an unsung hero of the night. But like you said, I thought he played great.
Yeah, Gustafsson, he scored in preseason. He scored with the Moose, but here he's been in the NHL, putting one in, just a great shot. And he talked about finding the soft ice. And, hey, Cole Perfetti, you really saw the vision. And he said, hey, have your stick on the ice. Cole will find you. And you definitely saw his playmaking ability on hand this evening. And, right after, it was almost a similar goal where a guy kind of off to the side of the net finds an area where no one's around. It's Mason Appleton this time, and it's Lowry from down low. It was Pionk to Lowry, and Appleton ripped one past Binnington.
Yeah, that third line, I tweeted out at the end of the game that their analytics were incredible. You said at the start, lots of possession, not a lot of chances. That really picked up in the second, and it started with Appleton, who the goal looked extremely similar to Gustafson. You have a pass from low to high, kind of in a bumper spot, and Appleton roofed it. And another guy in the bottom six that you wouldn't think of as a goal scorer, you know, you've got Nino in the bottom six, you've got Barron, who scored the empty netter late, you've got Carey, who's, you know, kind of was drafted as an offensive guy. Appleton and Gustafson, I think I would rank them near the bottom of bottom six guys I would expect to score, but they were the ones that gave the Jets a 2-0 lead. And I mean, we talk about the depth all the time with this team, and it was on full display, especially in the second period.
Yeah, there certainly were rolling all the lines tonight. And again, Cole Perfetti, shortly after that in the second period, he set up Nemestikov, who had a really nice one-timer. And the Jets, you know, halfway through the period, the Blues had a one-shot attempt. And the Jets really brought the pressure. They ended up actually out-shooting them, only 14-10 in that second. But for the first half, it was all Jets. And, you know, then, I don't know what happened there, but Jordan Kyrou had a couple breakaways.
Back-to-back, yeah.
And, you know, we talked about Connor Hrabchak's play last game. He was certainly on point there for the breakaways in the second period.
Yeah, you go from, as a goalie, you go from being, you know, in the intermission for 15 minutes and then coming out and only facing one shot attempt for the first half of the period. And then next thing you know, you've got two breakaways from arguably the most talented player on the Blues. But he was up to it. He was the first star of the game. He played great. The 20 shots against weren't really, you know, there were some dangerous chances, I thought. And the two Kyrou breakaways in the second period were two of the best for the Blues.
Yeah, they brought the pressure, and they did have to kill some penalties. Most notable play there, Adam Lowry, the shorthanded breakaway, going for the Lowry move, tries to tuck it in between the pads. You can check our TikTok. There's a pinned video. I made a nice little compilation of the Lowry move. I think it's on our YouTube channel as well. And he's done that move so many times with Binnington. I don't know if he saw that video and knew it was coming. But he was certainly.
The video went too big. He was to the point where Jordan Binnington saw it.
He saw it.
Knew it was coming.
He knew, and again, the Jets had. I thought they really outplayed St. Louis and outpossession. But when we looked at the scoring chances, and there weren't really too many from the high danger areas, and they were quite even. We talked about the breakaways there from St. Louis, but the Jets, you know, still had the lead. They did get St. Louis did register a power play goal at the end of that second period. They were 0 for 12 at that point, and they were able to put one home there past Connor Hrabchak to make it, you know, 2-1. It was Pavel Buchnevich from Shen and Kyrou.
Yeah, his first of the year. Really nice deflection. I mean, at that point, it seemed like you needed to beat Connor Hrabchak with a crazy goal like that, a nice deflection, and that's exactly what they needed. Got them back into the game, gave them hope going into the third, and then, the Jets came out strong again in the third.
Yeah, and Pavel Buchnevich, before the game, he was a game-time decision.
Right.
He was in. And I mean, there's really nothing Hrabchak can do. Just a pretty deflection. Almost reminded me. I mean, it was 5 on, a power play, not 3-on-3, but Mark Scheifele's redirect for the OT winner. On Saturday night. And so we head to the third period, and DeMello took a penalty. The guy, he gets burned. I think it was Toropchenko dove. Kind of got his hand on his hip, and the Jets did take a lot of penalties there in the third period. This was one of them. I thought it was a legit call. I was actually worried for him. Fell into the boards pretty hard. He seemed fine, but then they got a bit of a break right after. I don't know what you thought of this penalty. It seemed like a St. Louis player was stopping to avoid an offside on the zone entry, and Nemestikov, I don't know, he was just standing there, and the guy ran into Nemestikov, and hey, 4-on-4.
I don't know about that, because you see this call all the time. The guy, he needs to stretch his leg to stay onside, which is a hockey play. And what ends up happening is the penalty killers who aren't looking and are just back checking run right into them, and it's interference. Nino Niederreiter, actually, I forget which game that was.
It was the Florida game.
It was the Florida game. It was here. He got called for that, and it's just like they're stopping to not be offside, but then they get in the guy's way, right? So it's a call that I think needs some clarity, because you see it happen sometimes and then goes uncalled, and I think the whole rule book could use some clarity, but that was one. Again, it's been called before, so I wasn't shocked to see it called, but it's one that is questionable.
I think it's just incidental, two guys bumping into each other. It definitely benefited the Jets, because you felt like St. Louis did have momentum. They'd kind of weathered the storm in the second period. They had came back, scored a power play goal, and they're on the power play again, but it's 4-on-4, and I mean, this is just a beautiful play by Kyle Connor. Nate Schmidt keeps the puck in. Connor, he goes, takes a pass to sliding defenseman. I don't know if Binnington was expecting a pass because they had passed on a lot of those chances. Remember, Ix Alfalo walked in and maybe should have shot but passed. And Connor just put a top corner from Binnington. I don't think he was ready for that one, but a gorgeous shot there from number 81.
Yeah, I mean, you talked about how they were passing those opportunities up earlier in the game a little bit. It seemed like Binnington was cheating over. I was expecting a pass over, and then next thing you know, the puck is just in the top shelf of the net. And this is what Kyle Connor does. He's a lightning quick release. In that high danger area, he's the guy on the Jets that you want shooting that puck, and he made no mistake. He had a few good chances tonight. I think his all-around game wasn't the greatest, but offensively he was really on, and he got rewarded with the goal there.
I do want to say I hate this play where defensemen go down and go for a swim on the ice. I think it was Morrissey or someone did it earlier in the game, and these players are too good.
Yeah.
They can see it happening, and they know to walk around you. And I think you're just taking yourself out of the play. Yeah. But what do I know? I'm nobody. What do I play, like rec league hockey?
Well, I see where you're coming from because that guy drops down, and Jordan Binnington is now expected, like he's not sure, right? He's guessing, pass, because both options are open for Kyle Connor. Now, the defenseman didn't take away any of them, right? What you theoretically want to do, again, I'm also a nobody, but what you theoretically want to do is take away one of the options. You either want to challenge Kyle Connor and make him pass, or you want to just hug Mark Scheifele or just get in his way and let Kyle Connor shoot and let it be a one-on-one. You don't want to leave both options open, and that's what they did. Goaltender was guessing, and they scored.
One thing, too, on that, I think you do maybe this shin pad possible screening of the blade, and you can't see, exactly where the puck is at the time. I say it every time when these guys dive. I think people in chat might call me, say I don't know what I'm talking about, but I wanted to bring it up there. And
I'm with you.
And look, hey, they still, and that was a 4-on-4 goal, so they still had a power play, couldn't get anything done. And overall, the Jets, you look at special teams, always so huge. The Jets 0 for 3 on the power play, while St. Louis was 1 for 4.
And the power play didn't look good. Like, at least in my opinion, the power play wasn't generating chances. Like, you go back to the season opener against Calgary, they went 0 for 4 that night. But Rick Bowness after the game was saying how good he liked, or how well he thought the power play played, how many chances they were generating. Tonight, it felt like the opposite. It was a true 0 for 3. They didn't really generate the chances, but they got the goal on 4-on-4. And then they could have doubled up and lapped the Blues there on the power play, but failed to do so.
Yeah, Brandon Dillon took a hooking penalty later on. I don't know if it was soft. I mean, he got it in there. Sometimes they call that, sometimes they don't. I guess, as I said, at the end of the night, the Blues were 1 for 4. The Jets 0 for 3, and the Blues ended up pulling the goalie. And then, right after they pulled the goalie, the Blues scored their second goal. Morrissey passes the puck behind the net right to Jordan Kyrou, who goes Shen at the side to Rob Thomas and in. I'm not sure if you want to go inside Josh Morrissey's head on that play.
Was a few bad things. Morrissey goes right up the middle, kind of no look in his own zone. And then Mason Appleton kind of kicks it, or kind of like goes to deflect it, and it deflects, like you said, right to Robert Thomas. No one's near him, wide open in the slot. And Robert Thomas is a great hockey player, and he's going to score that 99 times out of 100. He's got all the time in the world. There was no one there. It was a bad bounce, sure, but that's the kind of play, and that's the kind of luck you get when you're 6-on-5, because the Blues had pulled the goalie at that point. They pulled the goalie pretty early. Scott Arniel was asked about that in the postgame. You see teams pull the goalie with 5-6 minutes left now. They pulled, I think, with 3.5 minutes left. Down 2 goals. I like it. You got to get goals, so you got to go early. And that was, the bounces you're hoping for if you're down 2, net empty. And, it was just an unfortunate bounce, but it definitely could have been avoided from a Jets perspective.
Oh, yeah. And, look, you had the empty net, you're up a goal, and, they had a couple shots in it. Eventually, Mark Scheifele, Morgan Barron, and in, and that ices the game. Scheifele, another point, Pionk assisting on that one as well, and that's the game 4-2. It didn't feel like St. Louis was in it much of the game. I think the Jets dominated most of the play, but, I don't know how many, high-danger scoring chances they got. St. Louis, they did have some. Hellebuyck was big when it mattered.
Yeah.
And I think if you, after the first couple games, you were worried about Connor Hrabchak's, save percentage or goals against, I think we're seeing it normalize here after the game against Edmonton and this one here tonight against St. Louis.
He looked a lot better. And next up on the schedule for the Jets is the red-hot Detroit Red Wings. And their power play, I believe, is number 1 in the league. I don't see how it couldn't be, because every game I've watched, it seems like they're just filling the net on the power play. Alex DeBrincat has, I think, 8 goals after tonight, which is just ridiculous. So they're going to need, I don't know if Hrabchak's going to start, but assuming he does, they're going to need him to be great, and they're not going to be able to take that many penalties and get away with it, right? They took a lot of penalties in this game. The Blues did score on the 1 power play, but against Detroit, a team whose power play is the hottest in the league to start the year, they're going to have to cut back on that, and Hrabchak's going to have to be great.
A couple other notes. Jets out shooting St. Louis 30-20, and we've seen that for most of the games this year. The Jets controlling with shots on goal. One thing that stood out for me, say we want about face-off percentage, but Blues dominating. Even some changes to the Blues this year. No Tarasenko, no Ryan O'Reilly, who's big on center. 65% on face-offs for the Blues against the Jets.
That's rough. And you talk about the main thing was putting Cole Perfetti on the wing. I don't know if that was face-offs related, but I would guess, because Perfetti wasn't great on the face-offs, you move Nemeskov there, who's better, and they still end up being 35%. It's an area that I'm not a big believer in face-off percentage. We saw the Jets dominate this game from start to finish.
Yeah.
Despite only winning 35% of the draws. Does it matter? Yes, it does, but I don't think it's a huge concern. It's definitely something they'll have to watch for going forward, because they moved Cole Perfetti, assumingly, for face-offs. I don't have that confirmation. I would assume so. And if you still are making that move and well below 50%, below 40%, that's an area of concern.
A couple other notes from this one. Ice time. You saw that. Fourth line, Morgan Barron, 11-28, Gustafsson, 9-43, Appleton, 15-12. Who's Dylan DeMille up there, 22 minutes. Morrissey leading, 25-21. Rasmus Kupari, fastest skater from NHL and the NHL Edge, fastest in-game speed. I might have to go dig up that shift where he reached the top speed.
I think it was against LA, and he was driving to the net, and someone passed it to him, and he was flying like the length of the ice to drive to the back post and overskated the pass. I think
it's sad, because it says on the site exactly the time. So
yes,
you know what? I'm gonna go home and dig it up.
And also on that site, I found interesting, hardest shot of the season so far, Nate Schmidt in the second period against the Edmonton Oilers with 15 minutes left or something like that. I don't know how that happened. You didn't think of Nate Schmidt as like the hardest shooter on the Jets, but those are the facts, I guess.
We do not. And there's a good. As we're going over the ice time, I don't know, do you have anything else to add before we wrap it up here at Canada Life Center?
No, I mean, I do want to mention that third line again. I tweeted with 5 minutes left. I was looking at natural stat trick. They were above 80% in expected goals, Corsi's, scoring chances, high danger chances, all the fancy stats that you want from a third line. And it was Niederreiter, Lowry, Iafallo for a bit there, which is a loaded third line. Now it's Appleton, and they're still having success. The difference between a team like the Jets and the Blues, in my opinion, is the depth up front. And when your third line plays that well, you're going to see results like this. The face-off circle, the penalties, the power play, still some things to monitor going forward. But all around, I thought it was a great performance from the Jets.
Just looking at Money Puck, Adam Lowry way up there, 85% shot attempt percentage at 5-on-5. Sandberg up there. Schmidt up there, then Barron, Appleton. I thought Cole Perfetti saw some really great playmaking from him tonight, which, when he got hurt last year, he was among the rookie point leaders. So we're looking forward to Thursday night, the Jets in Detroit, the red-hot Red Wings. Although they did lose tonight at overtime
they did? Okay.
To Seattle. They came back. Alex DeBrincat did score again, so watch out for him.
Yeah.
But, Connor, just tell everyone out there where they can find you on any social medias. Thanks for coming out here.
Yeah, this is great. I love doing this on location. This is fun. I do a lot of writing for the Hockey Writers. You can check me out on Twitter, Connor Hrabchak 1. That's where I post all my articles, all my stuff. So check me out there. And looking forward to doing this again, maybe remotely, the next couple games as they're on the road, but hopefully back in person soon on location.
Yeah, and hey, if you did enjoy this video, you made it all the way to the end, make sure you hit the like and subscribe to our channel, Winnipeg Sports Talk Daily, with Hustler live weekdays at 1 p.m. Central and available on podcast after. all the links in the description. From Canada Life Center, Michael Remis, Connor Hrabchak, this is the Winnipeg Sports Talk post-game report.